What you run from might set you free. There's a quiet truth about healing that most of us avoid. What you run from is often the very thing that could set you free. Pain doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It seeps into anxiety, depression, a quiet sense of disconnection. Life seems normal on the outside, but hollow on the inside. Have you ever felt that way? Going through the motions, smiling, working, but inside, something quietly fades, like a candle burning down to its final light. As Carl Jung wrote, "You cannot become whole by rejecting the painful parts of yourself." Sometimes, what you're avoiding is exactly what can save you. The fear you've buried might be the doorway home. Behind every pain is a message, a forgotten part of you, a wound never acknowledged, a truth never spoken. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Place a hand on your heart, and gently ask, if I stop running, what is waiting to be heard inside me? You don't have to fix anything. Even a tiny pause, even a sigh, can begin the journey home. Just 5 minutes. No need to solve it. Just notice. Jung called this journey a descent into the self. It's not easy, but it's essential. Light doesn't only come from the sun. Sometimes it enters through the very places we've been broken. So today, dare to pause. Listen to what you've been avoiding. Sometimes the bravest act is simply to stand still and feel. Your wounds are maps. Most of us are taught to treat emotional pain as something to be fixed, a flaw to hide, a crack to cover up so life can get back on track. But what if your wounds aren't just cracks, but maps, quietly guiding you back to your soul? Every pain, a loss, a rejection, a harsh word from childhood, carries an unanswered question. Am I lovable? Do I matter? Is it safe to just be myself? Deep within each hurt is a piece of you left behind, maybe in an old classroom, or in the silent aftermath of a harsh word, or in the embrace you never received. As Alice Miller wrote, "What is not expressed doesn't disappear. It lives on in the body." Let's make this real. Recall a painful memory from your past. Try writing it down, or drawing it as an old, forgotten room in your inner world. Not to blame, but to notice and step inside, as the first person to bring light to that space. Imagine opening a window in that room for the very first time. Let the fresh air in, and notice how it feels. You are worthy of your own gentleness, every single day. Pain isn't the enemy. It's a signal. A lighthouse flashing. There's something here you haven't touched. Yet. Picture yourself returning to that abandoned room inside you. Light a small candle. Let yourself be the first to gently say, "You are enough. You are worthy." You don't have to be strong all the time. Where the light enters. The wound is the place where the light enters you. A simple line from Rumi, but it holds a whole universe of healing. Have you ever felt yourself falling apart? Something inside you cracking so deeply you knew you could never return to who you were. Often, that moment of breaking is the moment your deepest truths finally begin to surface. Jung called it a psychological death. The collapse of the old self, making space for a more authentic one. When your identity crumbles, when the masks no longer fit, it's not the end, but an invitation. An invitation to come home to yourself. True light isn't just joy and success. It's also truth. It's the raw, honest recognition of yourself. I once met a young woman who said, "The day I finally broke down was the first day I truly started to breathe." I remember a time when I sat in my room, holding a letter I'd written to my younger self. I let myself cry, just for a minute. It wasn't dramatic, but it was the first moment I felt safe with my own pain. In that moment, your soul exhales in relief. Thank you. You're finally listening. As Elizabeth Gilbert said, ruin is a gift. Ruin is the road to transformation. Let the wound stay open long enough for the light to enter. Don't patch it too quickly. Don't smile over it too soon. A small practice. Sit with your pain, place your hand over it, and simply listen for 3 minutes. No fixing. No judging. The light enters through the crack. Every scar, every line is an invitation for light to find you, not to erase what hurt, but to remind you what is real. There's no need to rush. Healing has its own pace. Sometimes the crack is not the end, but the very place you begin again. The truth behind the smile. Have you ever met someone who always smiles, always seems upbeat and strong? The person everyone assumes is doing just fine? Sometimes, the deepest sadness hides behind the brightest smile. A smile isn't always a sign of joy. Sometimes it's a mask, a survival mechanism we learned long ago. When tears made adults uncomfortable, when being too emotional was too much, we learned to hide our pain, to say, I'm fine. But the body remembers. The soul remembers. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk reminds us, trauma is not just an event that took place in the past. It lives on in the body. I knew someone who was always cheerful, helping everyone, but struggled with sleepless nights. One day, she broke down in tears, simply because someone asked, "Has anyone really seen you lately?" Remember, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Often, the biggest battle is the silent one. The fight to be seen, to be heard, to know your feelings are valid. Pause and ask, is there something you haven't said yet? Sadness doesn't disappear when ignored. It waits, to be held, to be acknowledged. If you're listening now, try sending a message to someone. Are you really okay lately? Sometimes a single, sincere question can be the start of healing. Sometimes just one honest question can change a life. Let yourself be present with another's answer, even if all you can do is listen. And when you finally face it, not with a smile, but with truth, that's when healing begins. Healing means facing, not escaping. We often believe healing means the pain is gone, that one day we'll wake up and feel nothing. But healing doesn't mean no longer hurting. It means no longer running. Most of us were never taught how to sit with pain. From a young age, we learned, toughen up, move on, don't cry. So we avoid pain. But that avoidance turns into exhaustion, sleepless nights, a hollow feeling we can't name. Jung said, you cannot heal what you are not willing to face. But there is a turning point. The moment you pause, take a deep breath, and whisper to yourself, I'm ready to listen to this pain. Try it today. Take 5 minutes just to breathe deeply, listening for the emotion you avoid the most. Write down the real feeling, even if it isn't pretty. That's the beginning of healing. And even if all you find is a sigh, a tear, or silence, that is enough for today. Your presence with yourself is already healing. At that moment, you are no longer a victim. You become a companion to your own soul. Healing isn't about erasing the wound. It's about sitting beside it, without judgment, and saying, I see you. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. As Dr. Gabor Mate said, we're not addicted to pain. We're addicted to avoiding it. The hurt doesn't destroy us. The hiding does. So today, don't fix. Don't analyze. Just be present. With your breath, with your truth, with whatever still aches. Turn off the noise, touch your chest, and ask, what pain in me is still waiting to be heard? That moment of stillness is the beginning of real healing. The courage to sit with pain. Courage isn't about defeating pain. It's about turning toward it, sitting beside it, without judgment. You don't have to be strong the way the world teaches, brushing off tears, pretending to be fine, pushing forward as if nothing broke. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop, sit down, and say to your pain, I see you. I won't abandon you again. In therapy, there are quiet, magical moments when someone simply sits beside you in silence. Not to advise, not to fix, just to be present. That is true healing. Pain doesn't need fixing. It needs presence. It needs to be seen, felt, accepted, just as it is. As Carl Jung said, when someone really hears you without judgment, without trying to change you, it feels so good. Maybe you don't need answers right now. Maybe what you need is silence, stillness, a moment to say, you can stay. You are safe. Even though you are pain, you are still worthy of love. Today, try being fully present with your feelings, or listen deeply to someone you care about without trying to give advice. That is the greatest gift of healing. To truly listen, without fixing, without judging, is an act of love. You are offering both yourself and others a safe place to simply be. True healing comes not from changing our emotions, but from sitting with them, like a trembling child just waiting to be held. Inside, every pain is a part of you still waiting to be seen, not to be erased, but to be acknowledged. That is where courage lives. That is where healing begins. The final doorway. Every wound is a doorway, a passage into the depths of your being, a place where truth lives, where compassion grows, where you become softer, more real, and, yes, stronger. We're told that to grow up is to toughen up, but real strength is found in the one who dares to soften, to sit with their pain, to meet it, not run from it. When you go through your pain, not around it, not above it, but straight through, you don't just heal. You become a refuge. You begin to love deeper, listen better, and look at others with eyes that say, I see you. I know pain too. As Leonard Cohen sang, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Light doesn't just enter through achievement or joy. It enters through the cracks. Think back to the hardest times in your life, the ones you thought you wouldn't survive, but you did. In those moments, you learned something profound about love, about patience, about who you truly are. That wasn't a breakdown. That was an initiation. You're not broken. You're being broken open, so that something more honest, more whole, more luminous can come through. If this touched you, please share in the comments a moment when you dared to face your pain, or simply hit like, or share this video with someone who needs it. Or, just for today, spend 5 minutes sitting with your true feelings and see what changes inside you. If you're ready, write in the comments. Today, I choose to listen to my pain with kindness. Or simply, share one word for how you feel right now. Your voice matters. And if you're hurting today, please, stay. Let this be a gentle reminder. Your wound is not your weakness. It is where the light is asking to enter. Remember, light will always find its way to you, even in the quietest cracks. You are worthy of kindness and new beginnings, again and again. You are worthy of healing, and you are not alone on this journey.